breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hey folks, it is Friday, January 16th, 2026. You're listening to The Daily Ledger Show, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Great to be here with you today. We got a good set of stories to cover today. Good show. We're going to talk about AI sits out of AI arms race to play kingmaker between Google and OpenAI. OpenAI invests in Sam Altman's brain computer interface startup Merge Labs. The rise of micro apps. Non-developers are writing apps instead of buying them. And OpenAI signs deal worth $10 billion for compute from Cerebras. Yeah, so interesting stuff. Got some good commentary on that. Let's talk about some of our markets. Dow Jones is down 0.05%. The Nasdaq is up 0.08%. The S&P 500 is up 0.12%. And Bitcoin is indeed down 2.26%, down to $94,814. Before we get into today's stories, make sure to download Byte AI Market Analysis off the App Store. Byte AI is a financial co-pilot that tells you when you should enter and exit the stock market for any of your stocks in your portfolio, any and all, mind you. It does it based off of technical indicators like the Bollinger Bands, RSI curve, and MACD/technical signal curve. It's basically like a mathy statistical way that economists use to determine entry and exit points, as well as news, sentiment, and analysis. So make sure to go ahead and download that. It's not a financial advisor, neither am I, and past success does not guarantee future results, but it's a great tool that I use every morning and throughout the day as a day trading tool, as these analyses, overbought, underbought, and neutral, will change every about half an hour. All right, let's get into our first story. Apple sits out AI arms race to play kingmaker between Google and OpenAI. Multi-billion-dollar deal to secure Gemini models reflects cautious approach to infrastructure spending. See, my take on this is like, why are people shitting on Apple for not getting their hands dirty with AI? Now, you may remember that I've had some perhaps fair criticism of Apple's AI strategy in the past with Apple Intelligence, but I'm actually not being incongruent with that. That my gripes with Apple on that were actually for not doing what they're doing right now, which is to go with the boss and then not screw it up and not fumble. They kind of fumbled, right, with Apple Intelligence. Right, but that's not even what I'm talking about. With this specifically, everybody's saying, oh my God, Apple isn't competing against Google and OpenAI, guys. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, people. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, not everyone is going to come out there and suddenly reinvent a new, social network. They're not going to create the next Facebook. Like, you're not going to create the next LLM. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very reasonable for Apple not to come out with Apple LM and then start figuring that out. Yeah, they're going to choose the king, right? And then they're going to use their technology. That's what happened with Face ID, right? There was a startup doing facial technology well, and then they acquired them and then did well. Now, I'm not saying they're going to acquire Google or OpenAI, but I'm just saying, like, they're going to strike a deal akin to that where they use the best technology. They don't have to invent it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so stupid because you see this across like some founders circles as well. It's like there's some types, some like founders who are like just in San Francisco, in New York, and like whatever. Like, I'm just talking about like in general. There's some people who are like, oh my God, we have to like do everything ourselves, Wrong. No, there are existing solutions out there, people. It's like, give me a break. Like, imagine you're starving and you try, and there's like a bowl of soup in front of you, and you have the option of like using a spoon to like, drink the soup. Um, but it's like you refuse to do it because for whatever reason, like you have to create the spoon yourself. You have to reinvent the spoon. It's like, what the hell? No, just drink the fucking soup. And it's like refusing to use TikTok, but then creating a new TikTok, but worse, calling it Cliply and having 0 users. Like, are you retarded? Just use TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to create a new social network. So same here. It's like, you don't have to create a new LLM. Just use the best. It ain't that deep, people. For Christ's sake. OpenAI invests in Sam Altman's brain-computer interface startup Merge Labs. Nice. So I see we're making steps to go towards what Elon's doing with Neuralink. Merge Labs, which defines itself as a research lab dedicated to bridging biological and AI to maximize human ability, came out of stealth on Thursday with an undisclosed seed round. OpenAI wrote the largest single check in Merge Labs' $250 million seed round at an $850 million valuation. So that's like 30% of the company. Nice. Hey, man. I mean, if you're at the top, no one can sort of like defy what checks you want to write. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are people going to say? Nothing. The rise of micro apps. Non-developers are writing apps instead of buying them, from TechCrunch. So this is kind of interesting. It kind of talks about in this article how some tech adjacent people, like maybe product managers or something, but mostly just even people at home, are kind of using or like building small apps for personal use. It says here most are coding web. Yeah, most people, as in most, are coding web applications, though they're increasingly vibe coding mobile apps intended to run only on their personal phones and devices. Some who are registered as Apple developers are leaving their personal apps in beta on test flight. Yeah, it's pretty easy to get an app on test flight, not so much to publish. Yeah, you can be marked as spam pretty quickly. Yeah. I tried writing an app in 2020 and it got marked as spam. I was like, I didn't write an app for like 2 years, 3 years after that. And then I was like, okay, let me try this again. And then poof, we have Byte. But yeah, so I guess, I mean, here's the thing about like vibe coding, right? These people who aren't even, like, for lack of a better term, educated in software engineering, they're able to pick up software engineering and programming and coding like pretty quickly as a result of AI. And I'm all for this. It's like, those who choose to evolve will win. It's just Darwinian. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I encourage you to think, how does this affect? Imagine if like normal people are able to pick up coding to some extent. Imagine like hardcore software engineers who then embrace AI to its fullest, right? It's like the possibilities are endless. Suddenly, like there used to be a cap pre-2022. It's like, oh, I'm cool. I know how to use like, random niche crap. It's like, well, now everybody knows how to use random niche crap. Okay. How does that make you feel? Pretty bad. Yeah. Well, tell me more about it. You know what I mean? It's like, these people who thought they had an edge over you just like are just eating shit now. It just feels so good. You know what I mean? It's like, and then the audacity of people who are just like, oh, well, I'm gonna cling on to my ego. It's like, I'm gonna cling on to the fact that I used to know coding better than, Dennis Cert back in 2022, but now he knows so much more because he's using AI and he was classically trained in it too. So he's like a fucking god. And it's like me, like the Dennis Sir's rival is like, oh man, but I used to be cool pre-2022. I'm gonna stick to that. I'm not gonna use AI. It's like, oh man, and then now I'm like eating shit like as Dennis Sir's rival, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? It's so it's kind of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Pick up vibe coding. OpenAI signs deal worth $10 billion for compute from Cerebras. Okay. The chip maker will deliver 750 megawatts of compute to the AI giant starting this year and continuing through the year 2028, Cerebras said. How does that make Microsoft feel? Right? That's my question, because Microsoft used to have an exclusive, like, compute / data center / exclusive deal with OpenAI. Now OpenAI is kind of like running around getting a taste of everybody's deal. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like modern dating in 2026. And it's so funny because, again, it's like people are just out here, and it's like, I don't want to come out here and like, I don't want to like shit on women. I love women. But it's like, it's really funny because, like, as like a young guy, in the dating market, I come across some women who say like, oh, like, I'm only dating for marriage. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, bye. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the rules of the game have changed, ma'am. I'm sorry to say. And it's like the same thing here with OpenAI and Microsoft. It's like, at first it was like, oh my God, we're like ultra committed, married for life. We're going to get old together. And it's like OpenAI and Microsoft. And then suddenly it's like exclusivity gone. And then they're still kind of in a deal, but not really. It's just not exclusive anymore. So it's like an open relationship. And then both Microsoft and OpenAI are running around with different partners. It's like, this is great. Yes, I love this. And it's like, I got this text after I did a first. I'm getting things taken care of, but just interesting story. It's like I got the after like the first day or whatever. Recently, I got this text. Oh, like you waited all day to try it. You had all day to no, let me say it like this. You had all day to try and hang out with me, and yet you chose nighttime to hit me up or whatever, like, and to try and chill. And I was being chill, but it was like, that was the message. But it was like, like, give me a break. It's like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? It's like in Breaking Bad, that scene where Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul, he goes down to Mexico with Gus Fring. And then he's like, he's in the Mexican meth lab, and then the guy pulls, and then he starts like kind of like shitting on like the sanitation of the lab, and then the Mexican cartel like lab guy pulls up and goes, just who do you think you are? Right? And then after that, Jesse kind of shits on him, but like, imagine if that's the segment. It's just like that Mexican cartel lab guy who goes, just who do you think you are? Like, that was like my message. That's like my response, like in my head. I didn't respond, obviously. I kind of left it on red. I like to just like go ghost quickly. I love doing it. It's my favorite thing to do. I just like fucking leaving. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, that's like my ideal segment, right? It's just like, who do you think you are? Like, I almost wish I replied, because I'm not going to reply to that, but it's like, I almost wish that like my personality would be to like reply, because then it would be like, you had all day to try and hang out with me, and it's like, me, just who do you think you are? Anyways, so it's like the same thing with OpenAI and Microsoft. So we'll see who comes out on top. And with that, we'll leave it there. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We had kind of a fun show today. But hope you guys have a great weekend. Make lots of money out there in the stock market today, and minimize any losses, if any. And we will see you guys on Monday. Have a good one, guys. Peace.